Alright, hello, my name's Tom Boyle Illustration. Going to be going through a sketchbook today, doing a bit of a sketchbook tour. Not really sure why, but you never know, there might be some interesting stuff in there. I've picked a strong one to start with, just because I didn't want to pick one of the ones where it's literally just the same 10 drawings over and over again. Yeah, let's just get started. Starting strong with a nice bit of artwork done on the back of an envelope, because brown paper makes everything look good. Not really sure what this was about. There's a missile on someone. Really don't know. I think it says girl. Nope. If you can read that one, more power to you. That's pretty interesting, but kind of a nice experiment to play around with Posca pens and fine liners, get nice different textures, and yeah, brown paper is just really good for that sort of thing. Next up, we've got, this was for a zine that came out, or like a colouring book that came out, which I've probably got somewhere. An alien taking a poo, of course. Got the book here, the conspiracy colouring book. So that was it. It had to be, the brief was, it's aliens, loads of really awesome people in here, just by the way, in that sort of cool lowbrow style. There's mine, nice and big, printed up. There's the original. Yeah, it was just sort of like a bit of fun, take the mick out of all these conspiracy theories that was happening and stuff. And yeah. Next up, a Valentine's card. Sometimes you get requests as an illustrator and they make 0 sense to you, but if that's what makes people happy, I guess that's what, you know, that's what you're meant to be doing as your job, aren't you? You're meant to bring some joy to people. So here we've got the Count from Sesame Street, and he has 4 small kittens. No idea why, don't know the reference particularly well, if there was a cat and why they're in a nest. Answers on a postcard, man. I have no idea, but I know for a fact that the person who gave this to their partner, they were really happy with it, so job done. Money in the bank. Sometimes just fun to play around with typography, and you know, it's sometimes good to get out what's in your head onto the page. So what's the fucking point? Sometimes that's how I feel. Yeah, what is the fucking point? But if it's out on a page, it's not in your head. Does that make sense? I'm not sure it does. Some things to note here: I use blue pencils sometimes, probably on that sketch before as well. Blue pencils are really handy because it's kind of like you can do a quick pass with a blue pencil first and then go in with your normal pencil, or just straight in with inks. Means you've kind of got more than one sketch done already when you go in to clean stuff up further. I mean, this is a nice sketch of a black bear here. I think they're called black bears. Are they honey bears? No. Yeah, they might be black bears. They've got that cool yellow Batman symbol on their chest. It's already quite a nice sketch, but I'm sure if I sketched over that again with a proper pencil, a HB or a 2B or something like that, it would look even crisper. I don't know why I did this. I just think bears are cool, you know. Bears are pretty cool. Some random character sketches from TV shows I was watching. This is meant to be 11 from Stranger Things, with our little crew cut and stuff. I thought it would be kind of interesting to draw a bald person. I don't do that often. And then this was from Workaholics. They've got like a boss who's a bit of a bitch, but she's kind of cool at the same time. I don't remember what that character's called. Who knows? This is interesting. This is kind of an old sketchbook anyway. It's a few years old, but when I was younger, like 16, 17 or whatever, I used to only draw people with these eyes and eyebrows, like giant black eyebrows and eyes. I don't know why. It was just kind of like a fun style thing that I used to do. I actually think it's still kind of cool, but maybe not for day-to-day use. But what I used to do was I used to just draw different, they were called the Monster Hunter girls. I used to draw a bunch of different ones, so I thought I'd have a go at it again and do them all on one page as this weird little assemblage of monster hunting girls. Not really sure what's going on there, but again, like I say, if it's up in your head, get it on the paper. It's not up in your head anymore, and you're not mental. Yeah. Bit of futuristic car going on here. I think I was getting into like a retro future style at the time. It's a way to save some paper, just by the way. I wanted some Astro vibes. Not really sure why, but I just thought it'd be kind of cool to see a car with rockets on it. Car with rockets? I mean, what else do you want to know? Something to note here is I use, not tracing paper, what's this stuff called? Layout paper. Layout paper is really nice because if you do a sketch, you can quite easily see the sketch through the paper when you come to ink. I don't know if that's a technique everyone knows about and uses, but I use it constantly because my sketching's really messy and really gross. These were quite clean, ironically, probably because I used the blue pencil first. I have no idea what these were for. It's definitely, these were commissioned, but if you... Nah, no idea. Pot? Devil pot? No? Probably like a vape company or something like that. I really don't remember, but they're quite cute, quite nice. Some idea sketches for, this was going to be a mural in a bar in Newcastle, which is where I'm based. And it was all about whiskey and aliens finding whiskey, so yet again that retro future style that I was talking about before sort of must have been influencing a lot of my stuff. But yeah, the brief was aliens have come to Earth and found good old whiskey, which is always good. More pot devils. Why the pot? I can't remember. And then plants like the piranha plants from Mario. Honestly, no idea. Yeah, this is one I remember. It's lip sync battle. So there's a club night in Newcastle called Rise, which I do most of the design work for, and they wanted to have a lip sync battle one night at one of their nights, which I'm sure was absolutely epic. But they wanted it in the style of GTA. Not San Andreas, which one is it? Vice City, in the Vice City style. So I had to basically imitate that because I don't really like using pre-made fonts. I'd rather make it myself because it means people kind of come after you for using their stuff. But yeah, I think they turned out pretty nicely. Probably look a bit wonky on camera, but once I'd scanned them in and fixed them up, they looked great. Probably if I can find the design, I'll pop it up there. Sketches. This one there's a sketch underneath. Yeah, again using the blue pencil, use X's to show where you're going to ink your sort of dark colours, black. This was something I'd saw someone on a podcast leaning on the table with their fingers against their face, and they'd turned into this like sort of weird skull character with their hood up, and I was like, that is pretty epic. Something I really like to do is just like finding bits and pieces of weird stuff like that and then drawing it up because it's fascinating, I guess. That one turned out really nice. It did actually get me a job from someone. They wanted to use this as their logo for I don't know what, but they started being really weird about it, so I said I'd do them their own version. And I think they used it for like 2 seconds. Never used it again, but well, not. Who cares? Never mind. More retro future stuff with that sort of, rockets from like the 50s and stuff like that, and ray guns and cute girls doing stuff. Astro Robot Babe, obviously. There's the sketch underneath, which I've clearly Like I was saying before, with the layout you can sketch through, ink through, sorry. That one's quite nice, quite clean. Using Posca pens for the stars and things like that. That's probably the first pass, wasn't very good. A little bit Pippi Longstocking, which wasn't cool. Some Graffiti Girl. That one's really nice, turned out really well. So you're gonna probably think, don't big yourself up too much, but looking at old work, sometimes you're like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. And then you're like, oh man, I wish I was still this good, even though years later you probably have improved somewhat. But something I have just noticed is she's got 6 fingers. She's got one of them on the paint cap here, one of them off to the side. What's going on there? Is she a mutant? Am I stupid? Yes. Yet again, blue pencil to get the shape in, to get it in nice first, and then clean it up with the black pencil. Probably why that's super clean. Just a really good technique. Yeah. Daredevil, sexy horse. It's sexy. I must have seen it on a TV show. I don't know if anyone sketches when they watch telly, but I'll have seen a really sexy horse. Maybe Shadowfax from Lord of the Rings. Sexy horse. Here's a monster girl. Or she's wearing monsters, I guess. That's pretty sweet. Really clean. Love the drips. Something I really like.
Respect the drip, Karen.
Someone got the tunes on outside if you can hear that. Sorry about that. Some sketches. Always trying to draw nice clean lines. And it never usually works. So these are some quick sketches for... There's a group in Newcastle called the Animates who they basically put on like a meet-up group for anyone who's into animation, art, drawing, things like that. Just a really good crew of people, and they're all very canny, and they did this cool gif of loads of people did the Animates logo in their own style, so I thought I'd do something like graph, even though I'm not like a proper graph artist, but it's more my style, I guess. Here's like the clean versions. Turned out really nice, and then I coloured them up, and if I can find the GIF, I'll pop it on screen. But yeah, they turned out really nice. An Animates tag as well, looking fresh. More girls, more skulls, because skulls and girls are really cool, really hot, I guess. Sorry if you're looking at this from the side, but turning around the sketchbook would knock my table about, and it's already, my setup's ridiculous. So more horror stuff. I think we were trying different things for the mural I was talking about earlier, the whiskey mural. Don't know if they ever went for it. Don't think if that was part of it. I think this was just me having fun drawing tentacles, because they're both difficult and fun to do, drawing tentacles. That's quite cool. It's very cute. More Posca pen action. Again, who knows what's going through my mind with this, but trying to get cool shapes and characters using the clean Posca pen. It's always part of the quest is to get all your Posca pen lines to be as nice and as clean as possible, because if you smudge them, they are a nightmare. Thy neighbour is not thy friend. This is because I hated my neighbour at my previous address. They used to play their TV at ungodly levels to ungodly times. So, you know, kind of like I was going for like Bible quotes with that one, and then just get the fuck out. Yes, go away. More characters. No idea. Some nice clean characters here. It's turned out pretty nice. Something I'm noticing here is that the white of my Posca pen started to yellow, because it's like a few years old, this sketchbook, but something to think about if you create an artwork that's actually, these are always pieces of artwork that I would scan or edit, so it doesn't matter for me, but if you're using it on a painting or something like that, they can go yellowy white, but yeah, who knows. I think this is about right. What the fuck's going on here? Who knows? I think that's Bellatrix from Harry Potter. Pretty cool. I think that's my partner, Bex, as a skull, which is nice, you know, that I see her that way. But we've all got skulls inside our heads, I guess. This, an odd little request from a company I worked for. Basically a bunch of stick men, and you're probably thinking like no one would ever pay you to draw stick men, but yes they have. This was, it goes along the outside of a bar window. It's like a bunch of, if you put them all together actually it would probably be someone animated like running, but it was meant to be like a punk who is running. This is on the outside of that bar in Newcastle. Just a fun little job. I did a bunch of them and I don't know where the inks are for those, but they might be in this later, but we'll see. Oh, nice. Free code for anyone who wanted it there, if Banditism is still letting you use them. Dead Forever is a weird little, I wouldn't say brand, but like a slogan I've been playing around with for years and years, and whenever I just need a cool slogan to draw, probably it. The Dead Will Rise. This was again for Rise, so it was a Halloween, this would be their first Halloween poster that I did for them. They're up to number 4 this year, so 3 years old this sketchbook is, which is quite good to be able to date it. But this was fun, this was a good one. I did like a, you know, like a creepy hand coming out of a grave, which I took a photo of in the middle of a graveyard when I used to live next to a graveyard, which was handy, you know, for a little goth wannabe. Trying to get some different brush strokes here for a cool horror font. I think some of them turned out really nicely. Yeah, so this is Death Metal Made Me Do It. Bunch of different logo ideas. It was meant to look like a metal logo, or what they call death metal, clearly. They always look like a bundle of sticks or something really crazy. So it was trying to do that, but also make it symmetrical and readable, which some of them really aren't readable. So I had to draw it out a bunch of times, printed out, probably sketched it through again. I think I've sketched over the top of the printout there, drawing lines to get it symmetrical. And then this is what the final logo turned out like. This was for Disturbia, a company, I think they might be northeast based, I'm not entirely sure, but they sort of like do loads of goth clothing, and this was a really fun one because I know for a fact, because I own one of the caps, that they put it on loads of clothing and things like that, and it's really cool to see my stuff on their site. I've probably got some pictures which I'll pop up of what they actually turned into, which is pretty sweet. Always nice to see when you make something that it actually gets used and gets put on. There's the sketch again, if you can probably see. Definitely added a bunch of bits as well to make it even more crazy, but yeah, it's really nice when a company actually goes for your stuff, uses it. This is Wino Forever, used by Disturbia again. So this one, I think Johnny, what's he called? Actor, really famous. Johnny Depp, that's it. He's got this on his arm, and it was it Winona Forever that he had on his arm, and he had it changed to what? Maybe not Wino, maybe that was Disturbia's edit, was Wino Forever, I don't know, who knows. Anyway, it looks exactly like the tattoo that he had on his arm. This, you probably can't see what it would be, but it was these stockings and bras and things went on a cow, yet again used by another local bar company, this time over in Sunderland. I mean, hey, I don't ask. You pay me, I'll draw you a cow in stockings. Some drawings, some sketches, I obviously wasn't feeling whatever was underneath this. I've clearly blacked it out because I'm very self-critical, and a lot of them, not great. I'm not sure who they're meant to be. I think this is meant to be Tank Girl. These are probably just sketches I've been doing while watching the telly again. It's a good way to practice. Sweet dragon sketch. Yeah, again, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but the yellowing of the Posca is pretty gross. Another cool drawing, trying to be, you know, epic gangster, which I'm really not. I'm the entire opposite of an epic gangster cool kid who, you know, shoots to kill, but I think that's really clean, really nice. Could be a good skateboard design or a t-shirt design or something like that, but it'll never get used. Some cutie in workout gear, because we all love a cutie in workout gear. Quite interesting. Here we go. This was the edit I did for someone. I don't know if I've got the inks here, but to try and change it up from what it was to something a bit more like a gang sign, I guess. They were weird about it, but it doesn't matter. As long as they enjoyed it, got it used. This was an idea for, there was a cafe in Newcastle again, lots of local stuff, which I had the chance to draw something on their walls for like a cool art night that they were doing. This was kind of the starting point. I thought it was a little bit kiddie, a little bit childish, and it actually ended up like this. Which was pretty sweet. The only problem was they changed ownership about a week or two later and they painted over it straight away. So all that work for nothing. Some big fat guy. Really nice lines, I guess. Sort of brushwork. Use a really nice brush pen. It's one of the Japanese ones. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, really cool. More of this sort of retro thing. They never went for any of it, so I've probably just drawn all sorts to try and get them to go for something. But yeah, lots of little annotations just for clients to know what you're thinking. Clearly didn't get my point across, but never mind. This is, I think it's Tony Papesh's The Weirdo Man. Just a cool little character that a few years back on Instagram, when people actually used to talk to each other and do things and collab and stuff like that, he sort of asked everyone on the internet to draw his little character, and I think everyone must have. And it was just a bit of fun. Pretty cool. Me by day, me by night. Who knows? Who knows? Some goblins. That's a nice page. Pretty sweet. I think a lot of this worked out really nicely. Some good lighting effects on these guys. Some anime cliche. You know, when someone stumbles into the bathroom in an anime and they always catch the crush off guard. Like, dude, get the fuck out. This is for one of my pals, Kofi. He's got his own, well, he did, I don't know if he's still doing stuff, but he's definitely still a presence. He's like presenting radio and all sorts now for BBC. He had a vegan cookery channel, and this was a little character for his vegan cookery channel, and it turned out really nicely, I think. This one was a bit too thin because he's a buff dude, so he wanted it to be a lot more, you know, hench. And then finally, there might be a few more. No, this is the last one. Just a bit of type experiment fun. Nothing ever lasts forever. Going into the distance. Blasting off into space. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. I think it's raining and I need to go get the washing in, so we'll end it there. Thank you everyone. Probably I'll do a little epilogue after this. Bye. So got the washing in. It's all absolutely soaked. I'm absolutely soaked. Much like this, nothing ever lasts forever. Much like the sunny skies we had this morning. Never mind. Good old blighty for you. So that's the first sketchbook. This is probably going to be a really bad video. I'm not a very good talker, and Who knows if I'll do it again, but fun to give it a try. Anyway, thanks for watching. Check me out at all the links and whatever. See you in the next one.